Are you ready to have your mind blown? I'm hanging out here in Innovation Alley 2.0 at the 2020 National LINC Conference. I just spoke with Dani Fava, Director of Innovation for TD Ameritrade Institutional, and I asked her about 3 emerging trends that are sure to blow your mind.
Our coverage is brought to you by Envestnet Tamarack, one of the most comprehensive, open, and modular technology platforms for RIAs. Tamarack automates prospect development, financial plan creation, portfolio management, trading, rebalancing, and reporting with an integrated CRM and client portal. Advisors using Tamarack also benefit from the Envestnet ecosystem, including native integration with MoneyGuide Pro, Yodlee data aggregation, RIA analytics, and access to Envestnet's managed provider marketplace. Schedule a personal demonstration of the Tamarack platform today by visiting fppad.com/Tamarack.
Hey everyone, joining me now is Dani Fava, Director of Innovation for TD Ameritrade Institutional. Dani, you had a packed session earlier today. You talked about emerging trends that advisors, and I guess everybody, needs to be aware of. Can you synthesize what you talked about into 3 top trends for us?
I absolutely can, and I think these top 3 things are really important for advisors to be thinking about, and the reason why I think that is because their clients are about to walk into their office and ask questions about these things.
So they need to be ready.
They need to be ready to talk about income share agreements are number 1. So income share agreements are a really interesting alternative to student loans.
Well, we know there's a huge student loan crisis, right? Huge amounts of debt out there.
1.5 trillion. And did you know that there's 3 million senior citizens in this country who are still paying their student debt?
They still have it? That's crazy.
Yes.
All right, so what's the ISAs, these income sharing agreements?
Yes, it's an agreement that a student will enter into where either the university or it turns out a private crowd lending company will pay the tuition in exchange for a promise that when the student gets to work and meets a minimum amount of income, that student will then pay a % of their income back to the institution or university.
Interesting. So they can make a certain amount of money and then like above that salary level, there's some sharing that goes on in that additional upside.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Pretty clever.
It's very clever, and advisors need to know what questions to ask, like what is the minimum amount of income when this kicks in? What is the maximum payback amount? And advisors are, they're very well positioned to answer questions like this and help their clients really get through these decisions.
Very, very good awareness on that one. All right, tip number 2, what's emerging?
Okay, tip number 2, I would say the next emerging thing is the decentralization physically away from cities. So I really think that the real estate market is about to change drastically.
Decentralization, elaborate a little bit more.
Okay, so we have technology coming like autonomous cars, and pretty much every car company that you've heard of thinks that autonomous vehicles are coming between 2021 and 2025, so very soon, okay? Now we're also gonna have flying taxis. Uber thinks they're gonna have flying taxis by 2023. I think that's a little soon, but we'll just have to wait and see. So all of these sort of technologies that are happening are changing the way people live. So where you and I may have wanted to live close to an urban center, where we would have a quick commute to work and a quick ride to cool restaurants, right? The next generation doesn't want that same thing and won't need that same thing when they have autonomous vehicles where they can be starting their workday in the car. They'll have flying taxis, which, hey, they don't need to go to a cool restaurant. They can have the food brought to them, right? So it's a much different way of living, and I think that it's really going to shake up the real estate market, paired with the fact that 25% of homes in the U.S. are about to be sold by boomers in the next 10 to 20 years.
Interesting. And I think, do you think garages disappear? We don't need garages,
We don't need garages. As a matter of fact, there's some smart cities popping up. Look up cul-de-sac in Tempe, Arizona. So cul-de-sac is a new city, and there's a waiting list already that's being built with no cars. Nobody's allowed to own a car in the entire community. Wow. Really cool.
You just blew my mind. Okay, keep blowing my mind. Tip number 3, emerging trends that you see.
So this one's a little controversial, and it became controversial on Twitter when I said that every advisor should have a podcast. And I really think that that's true. And the way that I want advisors to think about it is not to think about it like they need to have the most popular podcast out there and they need to have a fan base. The way that I want them to think about it is they're communicating with their existing clients using voice. You send out a monthly newsletter, send out a monthly podcast, have your
You're
clients
already
listen.
writing the content, right?
You already have the content.
It's not that hard to get a microphone and speak it
I
out
think
loud.
that's actually one of the greatest misconceptions. Advisors think that it will be very hard, and it's technically infeasible for them to stand up their own podcast, but there are tools out there that make it very easy.
Very good. So getting into podcasting and using it for the right purposes, decentralized cities, income sharing agreements. I kept it straight in my mind. Dani, how do you keep all these emerging trends straight in your mind?
Oh, I live in this emerging trend space, really. I talk about it with everybody who will listen to me, including you.
So, and you share this on Twitter. So is a good call to action to like get more people to follow you on Twitter? Because you're posting this, right?
I am posting about all these things, yeah. So I would say yes, follow me on Twitter
All right.
at DaniFava_TDA.
We're going to put that link right below the video description.
Awesome.
You've probably seen already the profile be showing up on this screen. Dani, thank you so much for stepping away from the conference here to help us better understand these emerging trends that you
Always
see.
great talking to you, Bill. Always great. Thank you so much.